Hello everyone, my name is Auro and welcome to the 32nd devlog of my base building game, Chambers of Devious Design. These past 2 weeks I've been mostly focusing on just polishing and bug fixes, and I think I have made some nice progress on those fronts, so let me just quickly run through them and you can tell me if they were worth the effort or not. Alright, so one thing I did was add a bunch of shadows to my UI elements to give things a bit more artificial depth, and I can just toggle off all the shadows in this view right now, so you can tell me if it looks better with the shadows or without the shadows. And I also did the same in the actual game view. Maybe it's not quite as noticeable as in the main menu, but still. Yeah, I think this is something that is maybe not necessary, but it adds a little bit more contrast to the different panels to maybe help them pop up a bit more, so yeah, I think it's a good addition, but I would love to hear what you think also. Then I also made some visual improvements to the dialogue in the game. You can see the same additional shadows here also, and then you might notice that the characters are moving a bit. They're like weaving forwards and backwards, and then there's also this like breathing animation going on. It's basically like a stretch effect in the like Y dimension. I am hoping that this will make the characters feel a bit more alive when they are talking to each other, and I tried to find kind of like a nice middle ground between some small movement and then like a lot of movement. So basically something that is not so annoying to look at, but still something that will, yeah, basically give the characters a bit more movement. So yeah, I can show you how like these different settings here that I can adjust. Like, okay, that was maybe not so noticeable. Let's see. Yeah, that's more noticeable, so that's a lot of like stretching going on. Maybe this amount of movement is a bit too much, I would say, but I don't know. Let me know if this would be cool. Then I made the score bar a bit bigger, as much as I could fit there. Maybe it could have been still a bit bigger to like give more focus on the score amounts, and yeah, one option I also considered was like putting it somewhere here in the middle. I think for the like focus aspect this would be the best option, so it's very easy to see when they're in the middle. But visually, how I have set up my UI, I don't think this looks very good. I also don't really like the idea of blocking the like game view with like more UI elements, because well, yeah, currently you can stow this away here in the edge so it doesn't take up more space here, but yeah, I hope this like is kind of like a nice middle ground there. Then continue with more visual changes. I added this what do you call it, destruction indicator. So yeah, basically in my game, if you connect your own layer to the layer of another player, then both of the connecting rooms will get destroyed. So yeah, I think this was actually a suggestion from one of you viewers, so thank you for that. I think it makes it a like more clear what's going to happen if you place the room here, which I think you might like. Yeah, I assume you understood that that was going to happen. Another suggestion I got was to add some kind of a like visual element also when the rooms get completed, like something unique to the different room types. So I wanted to try something with the particle effects on that front. At first I tried something very similar to what I have currently in my abilities, to have like a lot of particles flying around, and I decided to use the room type icon for that, but it was a bit messy with a lot of particles floating around. So I decided to go with just like one icon originating from the completed room, and I think the end effect looks quite nice in my opinion. Okay, let's see. Let's first place this one here, and now let's finish this magic room here. So yeah, there was this like potion flying from there. I can show you with the orange kitchen room. So there's one fish that flies out of there. Yeah, let me know what you think. I think maybe one concern is that like there are different things popping up when you finish a room. There's the like text element, then there's like this checkmark completion symbol, and then there's also this like icon, but I don't know. Personally, I don't think it's too much, but let me know what you think. Oh yeah, by the way, you just saw another visual addition there. Yeah, I added this animation also when a room completion effect gets like repeated. I can show it again with... Let's eat these fishes here, and then yeah, I can show with this hallway here. So if I just complete that with my ability, so let's see what happens. Yeah, so that's also a new animation. Oh yeah, and something that has been constantly visible is this like highlighter. I previously had it also, like if you click the player icon, you can toggle on and off these lights, but I think from the demo I got several comments that it would be nice to be able to kind of like see your own rooms better when they are next to enemy rooms, because the walls are colored, but it can be kind of hard to see where exactly the lines go if you're very close to other players. So this was kind of like my solution to that when you're placing a room, your walls get brighter and also the doorways. So yeah, that should hopefully make it a bit more clear, like where your own layer actually is, where do the edges go. And this is also actually a option that you can toggle off if you don't like the look of this. Oh, and one small visual thing I added. Let's see, I'll use my lightning spell here. So I added that like wall coloration there, like the flashing thing. I can show it again. So previously I had this like lightning animation going from room to room, but the walls weren't doing anything, so I think it adds a bit more oomph to it when the walls also change the color a bit. Yeah, that's one thing I also did. Then one good comment I got was about the like yellow and green room effects. So previously I think it was so that the yellow room upon completion gave 1 point to each neighbor. So if I complete this yellow room here, it would give yeah, basically 3 extra score because it has 3 neighbors. And then the green room effect was that it gave it got bonus score equal to the amount of neighbors. So this green room here, if it was completed, it would get 1 extra score. But the kind of like issue was that while these effects are different in technical sense, they are actually identical, kind of. They are identical in the sense that the amount of score they would gain upon completion was the exact same. So for example, if this room was actually this, at the place of this yellow room, it would also gain 3 score to itself. Yeah, the like score distribution would be a bit different, how it divides between the different rooms, but the total amount would be the actual like the exact same. So I actually did a small change there, and now I think, yeah, this yellow room will now increase its score by the amount of neighbors. I think thematically it fits the like economy room, kind of like it's collecting treasures or something like that. And now this green garden room here, when you complete it, it will give a random neighbor 3 extra score. So now the like, yeah, the effect is different now. One small adjustment I also did was have the like room score be stabilized when you rotate the room. So previously the score also rotated with the room, but now it's stabilized constantly. Compared to before, the benefit of this is that when you place the room, it doesn't look quite as janky as before. Another subtle change I made was this like drop shadow behind the room score and room type symbols. So yeah, if I toggle it on and off, you will see it, but if I didn't do that, you probably wouldn't notice it. But I think it adds a bit more extra clarity here. With this also, I tried to find a good balance between something that improves the like existing situation, but something that isn't like overly noticeable, so that it won't like make things worse. So if I adjust the like alpha a bit, I think, yeah, if I made it something like this, I think it would further improve the like visual readability of the numbers. For example, you could see them better from far if I like toggle it on and off, but I don't think it looks very good when there's like this very noticeable black circle rectangle around the numbers. So yeah, I went with something quite subtle in the end. Then one thing I also want to show off that wasn't maybe so necessary, but yeah, I show it. So yeah, I added a small like dissolve appear animation to this main character here, and also a bit of a laugh effect also. So yeah, not necessary, but I think maybe hopefully it will improve the like feeling of entering the game a bit. So this is only shown when you launch the game, and after that it won't be shown again until you next time start the game. And by the way, I think this looks quite neat. Let's see, where am I? I'm somewhere lost. I need to find the character. Yeah, let's zoom in. So kind of like this flowing in the wind animation kind of. I am using this like ready-made sprite shader for this. I didn't code it myself, but I think it works quite nicely. But what I did was that I actually masked out most of the like character in the shader, so it only affects mostly this portion here, and then also the cape here a bit. It looked quite funny when it was on the like color portion there, and also of course I don't want the face flowing in the wind. Maybe I can actually show you, because it looks kind of funny if I turn off the masking completely. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so yeah, that's what it would look like otherwise, so maybe not the best look. Oh, and one thing I want to shout out also is this improvement I made to this little button here, because this was actually a suggestion from one of you viewers also. A very small detail, but yeah, it's better than what it was before. Before they were both like this same blue color and there wasn't any animation, so yeah, it's more clear now, I think. So thanks for the idea. Those were probably the most noticeable changes I made to the game. there were a lot of things on my list, and basically I tried to throw away as many of those ideas as I could. Well, not throw away, but like put on another list that I might do later on. Because yeah, I had gotten a lot of ideas, and I had a lot of ideas myself also what I could polish or completely new features I could add to the game. So I tried my best to kind of like think what are actually something that will improve the game and are quite easy to add. So yeah, I had fun coming up with like different excuses how I could skip adding something in the game, just so I won't spend like another year working on it. Yeah, it kind of felt like I was just constantly coming up with excuses like, oh, maybe this won't look that good, and okay, maybe I'm holding too much the player's hand now, making it too easy so he won't get the excitement when he realizes something for himself. And I would like to think that those weren't like completely invalid excuses. Maybe some of them were, I don't know, but yeah, whatever excuse I could come up with to skip something, yeah, I used it. After all, it's much nicer to have a released game than a slightly more polished unreleased game. As I mentioned in the beginning, I also did a bunch of bug fixes, and I won't go to the boring details on those, but maybe one I could highlight, which is kind of funny. So I actually noticed this bug when I was watching Retromation's video of playing my demo in Steam Next Fest. I noticed that some of the doors on the map were closed when they should not be, and luckily I quite fast got the idea why this happened. And yeah, it was kind of funny because the reason was that my available rooms on the left edge, those were the ones that were blocking the like doors of new rooms placed on the map. So yeah, basically if your camera was in the right spot, then yeah, you could block doors with the available rooms that were actually like on a completely different like section. So of course that shouldn't happen, but yeah, it's always kind of funny to notice bugs that are like following the game's logic but a bit too much. But yeah, there were also a bunch of other bugs that I fixed, and then there were some bugs that I didn't fix. Yeah, those were kind of like bugs that are rare, that are not so easy to fix, and bugs that like are not game breaking, mostly maybe some visual bugs or just some funny things that will happen in the game. So yeah, my kind of philosophy on those is that, as said, if they are not easy to fix and they don't really ruin the game, I think often it's maybe best to like not fix those at all, because if you need to change the game's logic in some places or like do a lot of work, some band-aid fixes to fix some like irrelevant bug, you are just as likely to create new bugs when doing so. So maybe it's like better outcome to just leave that one small bug in the game. Yeah, basically I was just lazy and came up with excuses, but yeah, that's how it is. Then another thing I spent quite a bit of time on was tuning the AI in the game. It was pretty good before. I had a lot of things ready already, but some of the new additions I have made to the game required some attention, and then one major thing I had to work on was the like how smart the AI was in this survival game mode that you currently see on the screen. So yeah, it's quite easy to tell the AI how to play the like normal game mode where you just need to collect score, or even another game mode where you need to destroy enemy rooms. It's easy to quantify those, like okay, collect this amount of score. That's easy, just maximize the score in the rooms, kind of. But then if the objective of the match is to survive as long as you can, well, that's a bit more tricky to tell the AI how to do that. Like, what should it prioritize? So I tried to make the AI understand the strategy of this game mode a bit better, and it's still not like as good as in the other game modes, but it's a lot better than it was before. And even I still sometimes lose to the AI in this game mode, so I figured maybe that's good enough. So basically the main things I added was that now the AI understands the direction where it's building better. So when it places a block, it understands if it's towards the enemy or not. Basically it's counting like the distances to the enemy, I think it's the starter room, compared to the distance from the block where it connects the new block. I don't know if I explained it kind of funny, but it's quite simple. So it just calculates the distances together if there are multiple players and then evaluates if that is like closer to the enemy or not. So yeah, for example, in this survival mode, I think it's better usually to build towards the enemy, so you can be a bit more aggressive and not get cornered so easily. Although if I look at the situation now, it's maybe not quite that good, because there was a lot of empty space in the middle. Let me just throw this panel away from here. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I still need to take a look at it, but yeah, maybe if the human player was playing this game, I think this center space here would be quite contested. So I don't know. But yeah, aside from the building direction, I also gave the AI more understanding about the doors. So for example, in this game mode, it should prioritize adding more doors so there are more building opportunities, and also which direction the doors are facing. Those were the major changes I made, but there were of course many like smaller, more subtle changes. Then I also did various smaller things, like I localized the achievements. I think that's a good thing to do. Then I adjusted some more visuals, tuned the colors a bit where needed. Also some font adjustments, made some bits a bit more clear than they were before. I think for example the score amounts on the rooms, then I think I adjusted the font on those. Yeah, what else? Sounds. I added sounds to all the like magic abilities, at least most of them, so they will have an unique sound. I think it adds up a bit more to the game. Then what else? Yeah, one idea I got from the demo audience, I think, was that to add like a different placement sound to the rooms. And I tried this kind of like variable volume placement sound, so that smaller rooms would create a smaller sound when placed, and likewise the bigger rooms would create a bigger sound. But when I was testing that out, I didn't think it sounded that great actually. It was not so noticeable, and then I kind of like it better that it's always like you can expect the same volume sound when you place a room. Maybe one thing I might still try is like this different sounds when you place a room, different type. So for example, if you place a garden room, maybe there's some like birds chirping or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I think maybe that also might have the same issue, that it's... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to try it out. But overall, I'm very happy to say that I'm really close to finishing the game. Like, not done, but like done, almost done making adjustments to the game. So I think next I will do a bunch of testing myself and see if there's like anything else I want to adjust. And after that, I think I will have like this small beta test for the game to get some like external feedback also. And by the way, if you are interested in that, if you feel like this is the type of game that you would normally play, maybe be excited to buy on Steam, and you might be interested to participate in the beta test, then yeah, hey, hit me up on Discord or Twitter or somewhere. And actually that's everything I did in the last 2 weeks. I would love to hear your opinion on these changes, if you think they are good or maybe not good, or if there was something that came to your mind that I should also still do before the release. Yeah, I would love to hear your opinions on that. But yeah, hey, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.